Hello fellows, it's time for another video. We have the season standings here. The season is officially underway and the Cleveland Cavaliers are far and away the best record currently. They've only lost 3 games with their stacked roster. I mean, it's a pretty good roster. I'm surprised that it's only lost 3 games. Grady Dick is an 84. Just really impressive. A 19.6 differential. If that holds up, I don't see why they wouldn't win the title. Unless they just get extremely unlucky with like random events or something. But anyways, in the 2 spot, we have the Chicago Bulls, who completed that Embiid trade. In the 3 spot are the Orlando Magic with Zion Williamson and Clint Capella. In the 4th seed, we have the Pistons with Jamal, Devin Booker, and Claxton. This team, I don't think, has made a whole lot of changes over the last couple of seasons. I know that's Gord's team. In the 5 spot, we have the Hawks with Garland, Jaren Jackson, Derek Augustine. In the 6th spot, we have the Sixers, the Gus Bus's team, with Dame, DeJounte Murray, who he just traded for, then Levine Giannis, who he also acquired, and Wiseman. They have only a 3.1 differential. I'm surprised. But there's only like 5 teams, 6 teams, I'm sorry, in the East with even a positive differential. So when you look at it from that point of view, it's not the worst. The East is extremely top heavy though. In the first play-in spot, we have the Wizards. Then we have the Raptors, Nets, Celtics, Hornets, Heat, Pacers, Knicks, and the Bucks with the worst record I think I've ever seen at the start of a season. Their roster is just absolutely atrocious. Dwight Hammond's 80, Kobe White, Donovan Blackwell, Vladimir Tomasevich, Garrett Meeks, mostly 2K generated players, or at least a majority for sure on this team. And they have a negative 22-point differential. By the way, by that metric, the Hornets are overperforming right now because they should actually be the second worst team if it's going purely by differential. Anyways, let's check out West now. We have the Blazers, who've lost 3 more games than the Cavs and have a 10-point differential. The Blazers, obviously, with Trae Young, Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo, and Josh Giddey. Are they bringing Giddey off the bench? That's wild. Anyways, in the 2 spot, we have the Warriors with Ja Morant, Kawhi Leonard, who they traded for, and then Brandon Miller, who's an 88 overall. In the 3 spot, we have the Houston Rockets with Ron Arnold, Amen Thompson, Jimmy Butler, Chet Holmgren, and Sabonis. In the 4 seed, we have my fine Dallas Mavericks team, who I'm surprised this team is this high, but it has Scoot and Ausar Thompson along with Rudy Lambert off the bench. In the 5th spot, we have the Lakers, who I'm surprised this team isn't a little bit higher, but I'm sure they'll turn it around mid-season, and 5 spots not that bad anyways. But they have Cade Lonzo, Sochan. They have an 8.8 differential, so theoretically they should be the 4th seed if that stays how it is. And then we have the Nuggets in the 5 seed with 95 overall Wemby, as well as KD. This is probably the most stacked roster on paper, if not one of the most. And I'm surprised that they're not doing just a little bit better. Anyways, then we have the Jazz with Garrison Moss and Nikola Jokic. The Suns with Jarrett Allen. And I guess Benedict Mathurin. This is another team that was really bad last year, and then I think they just signed Allen, and now they're doing better. This is the biggest surprise to me here, is the Luka and Jason Tatum team is the 9 seed, and they barely have a positive point differential. Maybe it's because they need a better center than Nurkic, and that would help them out a lot. I'm not sure. And then we have the Kings, Outlaws, Wolves, Grizzlies, Spurs, and the Seattle Supersonics as the worst team in the West currently. The Spurs are also doing a good job of tanking. Let's take a look now at the league leaders. So points per game, first is the Pistons' Devin Booker, followed by Zion, Scoot Henderson at 28.5. Then Luka, LaMelo, Curry, Tatum, Jalen Green, Brandon Miller, Cade Cunningham, Donovan Mitchell. Then we have Morant, Moss, Garland, Irving, Edwards, Jokic, Davis, SGA, and Jamal Murray to round out the top 20. For rebounds, Anthony Davis is leading the league again in rebounds for the Heat, followed by other fantastic rebounders, Mobley and Duren, Jokic and Wemby. For assists, it's LaMelo, followed by Ja is the only two over 10. Then we have Luka, Halliburton, Trae Young, Jokic, Garland, Scoot, and that is amen. For steals, Halliburton, followed by Eason and Brandon Miller. For blocks, Jaren Jackson Jr., followed by Isaiah Jackson. For turnovers, it's Dwight Hammonds of the Bucks leading the way. Fouls, it's Garrett Meeks of the Bucks. For field goal percentage, Jared Allen, the GOAT, is shooting over 70% from the field. All of these players are just fantastic pieces to have on your team. If the Thunder could maybe trade for one of these big men, I think that might help them out a lot. 3-point percentage, Tyus Jones is currently leading the league by a hair over Luke Kennard. Then we have Monk and Whitmore tied, followed by Mikal Bridges, Klay Thompson, Tyler Hero, Devin Booker, Brandon Miller, and Jabari Smith Jr. is shooting it well from 3. Let's take a look at contract extensions now. It looks like Giannis is willing to extend for the Sixers, as well as Melton, Levine, and DeJounte Murray. I don't know why that's blacked out though. I hope that's not something wrong with the game. But anyways, that's some very crucial and lucky extensions for the Sixers. Looks like no one for the Bucks. Tyus Jones, who's currently the 3-point shooter leader, as well as Finney Smith for the Bulls. Vanderbilt wants a 1-year minimum, as does Jimmy Brewer for the Cavs. Strus, Derek White, and Malik Monk all want to extend for the Celtics. Draymond says he'll retire for the Sonics after this season. We'll see if he changes his mind on that, because players have in the past. Cole Anthony for the Grizzlies. Garland wants a lot of money. Quickly for the Hawks. Caleb Martin for the Heat. Van Vliet wants 7, and Maxey wants almost 30 for the Hornets. Clowney wants almost 5 for the Jazz, and Jokic will also extend, so a ton of big names willing to extend here. Ingram, another big name willing to extend, as well as Horton Tucker. No one. Lakers, Zach Collins, Pokuševski, and Mo Bamba wants a minimum. For the Magic, Alvarado wants a minimum, Kennard wants a minimum, Drummond wants a minimum, and Donovan Mitchell wants 31. For the Mavs, JT Thor, I'm going to extend him right now because I want him. For the Nets, no one. For the Nuggets, Bridges is willing to extend. Hunter for the Pacers is willing to extend. Nwora for the Outlaws. Booker is willing to extend for the Pistons. That's another big name. Followed by Dinwiddie and Bagley for the Raptors. Kamara, Bay, and Sabonis wants 20 for the Rockets to extend. Grant and Siakam, who wants 21, will both extend for the Spurs. For the Thunder, we have a few here. Beasley, Smart, both want minimums. Tatum is willing to extend for 47, and then Clay wants just under 16. Clarkson and McCollum are willing to extend for the Wolves. They both want minimums. Trae Young is willing to extend for the Blazers. John Morant is willing to extend, as well as Kawhi, who wants 16. That's pretty reasonable for Kawhi. And then finally for the Wizards, Monte Morris, D'Angelo Russell wants 8, and Denny Avdija wants 8 as well. That'll do it for extensions. What am I going to show next? I guess I'll just go through every team's stats next. Go over to 3-point percentage. Giannis not shooting it well from 3 here for the Sixers. The two teams that I'm surprised aren't doing a little bit better are the Sixers and then the Thunder, obviously. The Bucks have 3 wins, and so that's what you get for your 3 wins. The Bulls, who are a top team in the East again, and are coming off their 3rd straight title. The Cavs, who are currently the best team in the league with LaMelo, who's shooting it pretty well from 3. They have a bunch of 40% three-point shooters. Duran and the Celtics. Anthony Black and the Supersonics here. The Grizzlies, who are in the middle of a rebuild with Bilal Coulibaly. Then we have the Hawks. I didn't remember that the Hawks got Tyler Hero. Huh. The Heat with Irving and Davis, as well as Brunson, who got that random event. And then we have the Hornets here with Maxey, who I know is willing to extend. The Jazz with Jokic. They're in the play-in in the West currently, I believe. The Kings, who are sort of in the middle of a rebuild, except they also have Brandon Ingram, who's like, in my opinion, an extremely good player in 2K. The Lakers, who are a top team last year, they went to the conference finals. Maybe just need to make a couple of tweaks to stay competitive. The Magic, who always get unlucky in the playoffs. The Mavs with the GOAT, Scoot Henderson. Someone should keep track of how many different players I refer to as the GOAT. It's probably like 30 different guys. Wemby, who's averaging 1.2 steals, 1.9 blocks. Then we have the Pacers, who overpaid Simons and Vassell. The Outlaws with Towns, who they acquired in a trade. The Pistons, who are consistently a solid team, kind of just probably 1 or 2 moves away from being super competitive. The Raptors, who are in a rebuild after trading Giannis for Mobley. They could probably flip Mobley also for a great package if they wanted to go full tanking. But I don't know if it's too late into the season for them to do that this year. The Suns, who are, I believe they're a play-in team since they acquired Jarrett Allen this offseason. The Thunder, who are currently being screwed by the algo in my opinion, and probably also need to make some tweaks. Nurkic is shooting okay from the field, but, you know, could probably make an improvement at center, in my opinion. Blazers, who are coming off, I believe they went to the conference finals. I don't remember now. Maybe they didn't. Oh, I think they did. Yeah, I think it was Blazers-Lakers. And then the Lakers went to the NBA finals. Yeah. Nice. And finally, the Wizards with Tyrese Halliburton. The next thing I will show is who's a free agent. We have Trendon Watford, who wants 2.69. He was released. And then we have more of these 2K generated players here. Michael Mann wants 13. Kennedy wants around 3. Richards wants around 3. Jameson wants 4.65. Chapman wants 3.86. Bryce McGowens wants 5.26. Najee Marshall wants 2.95. Moncrief wants 10. Kenneth Lofton Jr. And then I'll just scroll for a second here. A little bit farther. But yeah, that's about it for free agents. Draft picks now. Obviously the Bucks have a few firsts this year. They have a ton of firsts overall in a full-on rebuild. Dang. They have like 5, 20, 30 firsts. They could start a collection if they wanted. The Bulls, who are just about out of picks to trade. The Cavs, who still have most of their picks. Celtics, who still have all of their picks. The Sonics here, who have a good stockpile of extra picks. as well as the Grizzlies, who have a good number of picks, and the Hawks. Then we have the Heat, who've retained all of their own picks, as well as the Hornets. The Jazz have most of their picks, as do the Kings. The Knicks have a solid holding of picks. Lakers have most of their own picks. The Mavs have a decent amount. There's the Nets, the Nuggets, Pacers, Outlaws here. Then we have the Pistons, who have all their picks. The Raptors, Rockets, Spurs, who have a good amount of picks. The Suns, the Thunder, who are just about out of picks to trade, other than that 1 second. The Wolves with a good stockpile. The Blazers with a decent amount, as well as the Warriors and the Wizards. I think that's all that I have to show in this video. But I'm going to look at some team stats just for a minute to try to dive into what's going on this season. So points per game, it's the Cavs leading the way. The Mavs are 7th, the Bulls are 8th, the Sixers 9th. I'll scroll so everybody could see their teams, points per game. Obviously the Bucks are averaging 96 per game. Their offense must just be horrible. Points allowed per game, the worst defense is the Pacers, followed by the Bucks. The Jazz and Hawks have pretty bad defenses despite being playoff teams. So maybe they could do something to improve there. The best defense goes to obviously the Cleveland Cavaliers, followed by Lakers, Warriors, Rockets, a bunch of really solid playoff teams. And then we also have the Suns up there because of Jared Allen. The best point differential is obviously the Cavs. Then the Warriors are second best out west. Field goals made, field goals attempted, field goal percentage is the Magic. The Wizards look like they're hitting the most threes, but for three-point percentage, it's the Cavs, with the Spurs being the worst three-point shooting team. I'll scroll over to turnovers per game, I guess, and we'll sort by assists. So the Jazz are getting the most assists per game. I'll just scroll now so you can see all of these stats for your team as well. And then I'm going to dedicate 30 seconds of this video to figuring out what is wrong with the Thunder. Okay, so where are the Thunder? I want to look at them exclusively now. So they're getting 14 turnovers, only 3 blocks. Maybe it's their rebounding that's the problem. Yeah, that's kind of my theory, is just their rebounding and their points allowed, perhaps? 15. What are they shooting? The Thunder are in the bottom third of teams pretty much in terms of field goal percentage. So yeah, I think if you're the Thunder, I don't know why I'm so fascinated by them. Probably just because they have Luka and Tatum. I just think you got to get a better center, like go get Clint Capella or someone to help you out instead of Yusuf Nurkic. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Congratulations to the Cavs and to the Bucks for being on opposite sides of the standings there. I know they're both probably pretty happy about that. The next deadline is already in the Discord, so we'll look forward to that in a couple days. It's been a very long video. I apologize for that if you actually watched the whole thing. But good luck. Trade deadline is in 2 days. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.